Hey everybody, this is Perch, and it was a week ago, I interviewed Steve Skroce, and he's got a new book out from Image called Post Americana, and actually two issues are out now. A little bit hard to find the first issue, but if you can get it, that's great. You should grab your hands on it. But the second issue came out basically 2 weeks ago. I would really recommend this comic. So what I want to do is kind of review what's going on here. I want to say what this comic is and isn't. I definitely think this comic is going to appeal to some people and definitely not appeal to others. It's one of those books I think that's fairly easy to peg if you know what you like. But in general, this is a very solid book. Again, it's out by Image, Post Americana. And what's striking to me is a number of review sites got a lot of this kind of wrong. And it comes in really clear by the time you get to the second issue. But I suspect that at least in some cases, the people read the synopsis and maybe they saw the main character and they kind of left it at that. But basically the setup for this book, and I'll go over kind of the first two issues. And the interesting part about this book, by the way, is it is a limited series. I believe it is 6 issues. I think I heard from our interview that it went to 7 issues. I may be wrong. I think there's some kind of curveball there with the number, but basically what has happened is this is in the future. It's kind of this undetermined amount of the future, but things have gone completely terrible. It is Mad Max has befallen the United States of America, and somewhere kind of in the Midwest or near Colorado, I believe actually is, I may be getting all these things completely wrong. I'm doing some of this off memory, which is a terrible way to do a review. But basically there's this hollowed out mountain. It's a bunker. It's like an ark. It's a place where a bunch of people went, and what was intended was that the leaders, the politicians, the key people of the country would go to this this sanctuary. But kind of instead, what happened is that a bunch of kind of oligarchs, rich, people went to this bunker, and they've been living down there for a long time. And it's got kind of a little bit of a, kind of like a Wall-E feel to it to some extent, in that, the people who are living down there are largely fat and happy. And there are, then there's some slave labor, unlike Wall-E, there's not robots doing everything. They've got a little private army, and they've got, some mechanics and other things who are doing this. But by and large, people are living, relatively happy in this facility. And the leader, who's kind of risen to power here, has announced that we're going to, get this army assembled. He's got all these tanks, these planes, these other things. They are going to basically head back up to the surface, and they're going to retake America. And that's the plan. It is very much, so I'll pause here for a moment. For some reason, and I'll be honest, I've read this issue, and both 1 and 2 several times now. And this issue came out near the Capitol riot and everything that happened there, and people tied the comic to that. There's no resemblance to that. I don't know. I've read it a couple times. I'm trying to kind of cross my eyes a little bit. The leader here does not look like Trump. No part of it really sounds like Trump. You love Trump or you hate Trump. This isn't a Trump book. I think, unless we're saying that in some scenario, Trump is going to somehow take all of his rich friends and go into a hollowed out mountain and live there for like 200 years. And during that time, America is going to fall into a wasteland, and then he's going to come retake it somehow. I mean, unless that's what happened on January 6th at the Capitol, then I think these conclusions are very incorrect. So anyway, you got this rich bunker. So some people don't like this plan, and they don't want to see this leader kind of run amok up front. So they sabotage they basically sabotage the weapons and the tanks and the planes, and they're going to try and kind of escape and foil this guy's plan. So right in our first issue, they're getting the big speech, and then the mechanics, the rebels, the insurgents, they blow up basically they blow up the room where all the planes and the attack vehicles are, but unfortunately, as they're escaping, their plane is damaged, their jet, and so they're going to try and make it out and make it to some level of safety. But the ship goes down, in kind of a countryside area. And unfortunately, now we turn our attention. We saw the evil people living in the mountains. That's awful. But now we're discovering the evil people living out in the wilderness, and they are terrible. Like they've basically resorted to cannibalism, lots and lots of cannibalism, just various debauchery, and it's this comic. I should say at this point is it has violence, it has nudity, it has people, arms getting ripped off. It's got cannibals. There's blood everywhere. Chickens, crazy violent chickens attack this guy and basically tear out his intestines and everything else. So this is not a kid friendly book, but our one survivor, two survivors get out, but immediately one is killed. Our one survivor gets out, but he is captured by this crazy Mad Max kind of mob. He runs into this mercenary girl who is we don't know enough about her, but she is basically gets a drop on and saves this guy. And in return for some information, she is wary to the threat that is coming. And so, at first, this woman seems very capable. She's your tough kind of heroine, but it doesn't last. And basically, even though they get away, they're quickly kidnapped again by a different, by a group of full-on cannibals, and now life is in a lot of trouble. So that's kind of our first issue. If you enjoyed Mad Max in particular, that's probably your best. You're gonna enjoy this issue. If you've been reading Undiscovered Country and you want more, a little bit more action, a little bit more kind of direct things going on, a little bit more satire, a little bit more. This book is not like Undiscovered Country, but it is that kind of a look at the future, where everything has gone wrong. The difference in this book is they put the pedal, to the metal, and everything has clearly gone bad. And so you get a lot of world building, a lot of interesting characters going on. Our second issue, we learn a little bit more about the woman here who's kind of our heroine. We learn that she's kind of an amputee. She doesn't have legs and arms. She's not nearly as capable as she came across in the first issue. And basically, they're stuck in this weird cannibal bro party, which is just, it's horribly violent and disgusting. We got like a bola with skulls on it, and it's just insane level of stuff. This is science fiction. Again, if you're a fan of like John Carpenter movies, you like Mad Max, you like that kind of thing, this book will really appeal to you. I think this book is a hell of a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this thing. It's very, very different. If you enjoy things like Money Shot, that's that book. It's a very different book. This isn't a superhero book whatsoever. It's definitely, it's questionable who the heroes are. We've heard a little bit from Steve about where this book is going in terms of some of the other things he's going to bring in. I don't know how he's going to keep if it's a 6 or 7 issue series, like he's still going to be introducing stuff over in issue 3 and issue 4. But this is a very violent book. It is a lot of fun. Again, if you like some of Mark Millar's stuff, it kind of fits in that vein. This would be a hell of a lot of fun to watch in some kind of short form show if they ever made this into a series. But this is a fun comic. It's violent. It's gory. It's got you will not see it coming from page to page what's happening here, but it's got a lot of different moving pieces. But it's fun. You get a sense of fun reading this comic. So issue 1 and issue 2 are out. Post Americana. I really do like this. I think it's another example of an indie book that's just kind of doing its own thing and having a lot of fun doing it. It's definitely a good palate cleanser. If you are frustrated a little bit with the big 2 comics, you're kind of worn out of some of the stuff with Future State, or you're not into the X books, you're not into kind of the Marvel way of storytelling. This book is definitely going to give you something radically different that you haven't read yet this month, and I would definitely recommend it and check it out. I think you'll, if this stuff is sounding good to you, you will enjoy it. But again, definitely violent, not for kids, but really kind of an enjoyable crazy romp through a completely destroyed America. Like, again, I make the comparison a bit to Undiscovered Country. If you're reading that book and you're like, oh, it's kind of taking its time, what's the mystery here? Undiscovered Country reminds me a lot of Lost in the sense that it's doing the flashbacks and it's like setting up kind of the mystery and this new mythology. This one is just like every page is designed to punch you right in the face. And that there's something really relaxing and enjoyable just reading a book like that. So I recommend you check it out. Post Americana, Steve Skroce, out by Image. Really, solidly fun little book. And yeah, go check it out. You'll have fun. Are you reading this book? Did you like it? Do you agree with me, or did you read it and you're like, absolutely not. This is terrible comic. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. All the contact information is in the description of the video. And thanks for listening.